Raise your hand if you ever had a bad interview. This means that after you walked out of that office, you already know you fucked up. I remember mine. I was in my sophomore year of high school and I was trying to get into this internship. As I was waiting for my turn, I would see other people walk out of that interview room, happy as could be. I was so confident when I was waiting that I was already thinking about the bus routes I would take to get there. I entered the room and all my confidence went out the window. I started to stutter and I started to ramble about stuff that wasn't really answering the question. It was a train wreck. A couple weeks later, I checked my email and they rejected me. A couple months go by and my friend that was in the internship told me that my interviewer said that I was very bad and unprofessional. From then on, I wanted to prepare and research how to do an interview well. Here are my tips to ace that interview and get the job of your dreams for 2020. Tip number 1. Dress to impress. This might be straightforward, but it's something that you shouldn't forget. The first impression of you will always be what you look like when you first meet your interviewer. You don't want to go to an interview wearing something that you wear every day. For me, that would be a hoodie and jeans, and you won't wear that in an interview. How about a suit? Better, but it might be a bit much. I would say it depends. For males, I would say a dress shirt with neutral colors, a pair of chinos or slacks, and a nice pair of dress shoes or Oxfords. Tip number 2. Have a nice setup or an online interview setup. 2020 has been a year of twists and turns, and I would say it has changed the interview landscape quite a bit. Most interviews are held digitally and we have to adapt to this change. By having a nice setup, your interviewer will be impressed because it shows that you as a person is adapting well to this change. I think most laptop webcams are enough, but if you don't have one, I would recommend you getting one because companies want to see your face. Next is to get a nice mic. Your interviewer will thank you because some mics sound like you are in a tunnel, and some sound like you are scratching nails on a chalkboard. Lastly, make sure your background looks professional. The interviewer will see what's behind you, so make sure it's not your messy unmade bed. I say this because behind me is my messy bed. Make sure that it looks clean and tidy, or it's a blank wall. What I do is I have a screen divider that hides my bed. Tip number 3. It's okay to be nervous. Everyone gets nervous. It's only human to be nervous. Being nervous just demonstrates that you care about the position you are interviewing for, and it's something you really want. What you need to do is understand why you're so nervous, and most of the time it's because you are not prepared. Here are some questions you should be able to answer the night before the interview. Are you knowledgeable about the job? Have you done your research on the company? Do you understand your strengths? Did you practice? If you say yes to all of these, then you are prepared for your interview. But if you are not, continue with the rest of these tips. Tip number 4. Know the job you're applying for. This might seem redundant because you applied to this job, but actually think about it. Do you know what you are going to do if you get this job? Do some research beforehand so you know what the job entails. A simple Google search of the job definitely goes the distance. Tip number 5. Research the company. Many people overlook this and it's a shame because a lot of this information is actually already online. Let me ask you guys, do you guys know that people actually post questions that they receive in their interview? Some company employees actually share the questions that they had in the interviews. I swear, here's a screenshot on Handshake. Tip number 6. Know your strengths. 9 out of 10, the question, what are your strengths, will always appear. A simple exercise you should do is take a blank piece of paper and think what makes you special. Then elaborate it, maybe a couple of bullet points. This is a simple yet effective way because it helps you understand your strengths and you could put it into words. Tip number 7. Practice, practice, and then practice a little bit more. It's tedious and repetitive, we know. But similarly to a math problem, you can only get it after doing it a million times. And once you think you get it, do it again till you're sick of it. Be so sick of it that once you get into that interview, you just want it to get over with because you're so tired of practicing. For my last words, I want to ask you, are you going to follow these tips or are you going to forget about this and go on with your life? Let me tell you something that continues to inspire me to this day. If you are not going to change, then the person right next to you in the interview line might. And they'll get that sweet, sweet job, and you won't. A job doesn't land on your lap. You earn it. Thank you.